Imagine looking through the lens of a spacecraft orbiting Mars. The cameras sweep across the rust-red horizon, but then something else enters the frame. A distant glow, pulsing like a heartbeat, moving with a rhythm no natural comet should have. For months, astronomers have been tracking 3I Atlas, only the third known interstellar object to visit our solar system. At first, it looked like a comet, icy, dusty, just another frozen wanderer, but as it closed in, the data began to twist the story. Now, with new high-resolution images from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, scientists are stunned. The pictures reveal patterns in the object's tail, precise, repeating plumes of gas and dust, not chaotic eruptions like ordinary comets. Instead, they fire in perfect rhythm, as if Atlas is adjusting its own course. One researcher put it simply, "This isn't random. Something about its motion looks engineered." The object is already traveling at impossible speeds, over 200,000 kilometers per hour. Yet these tiny pulses shift its trajectory by subtle amounts. From Mars, those shifts are magnified across millions of kilometers, pushing the comet-like body into alignments that should be statistically impossible. The timing is even stranger. The new Mars images were captured just as 3I Atlas passed near the planet's orbit, and that's when the plumes were brightest. It was as if the object responded to Mars's gravity, making adjustments in real time. Could it be natural? Some scientists say maybe, but even they admit no known comet produces clockwork eruptions every 17 minutes. Others are whispering something bolder. What if this is not just ice and rock? What if 3I Atlas is doing the impossible on purpose? The question has thrown the astronomy community into chaos, because if this visitor is controlling its own path, even slightly, then we are not just observing an interstellar rock. We are watching a craft. As scientists process the new Mars orbiter images, they notice something chilling. The plumes escaping from 3I Atlas weren't just bursts of gas. They traced out patterns, curving arcs, symmetrical spirals, the kind of shapes you'd expect from navigation systems, not random outgassing. When compared side by side with ordinary comets, the difference was unmistakable. Typical comets shed material in chaotic, uneven jets, like a shaken soda can spraying in all directions. But Atlas? Its eruptions followed angles so precise they could be measured to within a fraction of a degree. One planetary scientist whispered to a colleague, "This looks like thrust." That single phrase has set off one of the fiercest debates in astronomy. On one side are the skeptics, insisting it's still natural. They argue that maybe Atlas carries a rare internal structure, fractured ice layers that just happen to vent at regular intervals. But others aren't convinced. The images from Mars show the plumes brightening exactly when the object passed near the planet's orbit, as if it reacted to the encounter. No comet we've ever observed changes its activity with such suspicious timing. The statistics are just as unnerving. The odds of a random interstellar comet producing rhythmic, Mars-timed eruptions. Astronomers put it at less than 1 in a million, and yet, here it is. If the patterns are natural, then we've discovered a brand new category of comet, one that defies every textbook. But if they are not, then the only explanation left is artificial control. The possibility has sparked whispers of something extraordinary, an interstellar craft disguising itself as a comet. But before the world accepts that, scientists want one more piece of evidence, a detail hidden deep in the Mars images, something so strange it may silence the skeptics once and for all. When analysts enhanced the Mars orbiter's raw frame, they spotted something they weren't prepared for. Inside Atlas's hazy coma, buried beneath layers of dust and ice, a faint glow pulsed from the core. At first, they thought it was a calibration error, maybe sunlight bouncing oddly across the orbiter's optics. But the glow wasn't random, it flashed in intervals. First every 19 minutes, then every 17, locked in a rhythm too steady to be coincidence. One astrophysicist compared it to a heartbeat. Another said it looked like the cycle of a machine warming up. Here's the kicker. The glow wasn't just any light. Spectral readings hinted at energy emissions far hotter than ordinary cometary gas. In fact, the radiation profile matched temperatures more common in nuclear reactors than in frozen ice. Think about that. A so-called comet producing bursts of heat powerful enough to mimic controlled power generation. That alone bends belief. But it gets even stranger. Every time the glow pulsed, Atlas's trajectory shifted by a microscopic fraction. Tiny nudges, almost imperceptible at first. Yet over millions of kilometers, those nudges add up. The Mars orbiter's telemetry confirmed it. Atlas was adjusting course in real time. Natural objects don't correct themselves. They drift, they decay, they follow gravity like prisoners in orbit. But Atlas, it behaves more like a pilot at the controls of a ship. Now the scientific community is split right down the middle. Some say we're witnessing a natural process beyond our understanding, perhaps a new category of interstellar body. Others argue we're staring at the first undeniable proof of artificial propulsion. And the public? They're left asking the same chilling question. If it really is steering, who or what is behind the wheel? As soon as the Mars orbiter data was shared behind closed doors, whispers began leaking out of major space agencies. NASA issued calm press statements describing Atlas as a fascinating interstellar comet, but internally the tone was different. Documents circulating through mission teams spoke of unexplained periodic activity and trajectory inconsistencies. Engineers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory were reportedly tasked with running emergency simulations, not just of flybys, but of collision scenarios. Across the Atlantic, the European Space Agency quietly assembled what insiders are calling a Planetary Defense Task Group. Normally, such a group prepares for asteroid deflection drills. This time, the object isn't an asteroid, and that has officials nervous. Even Russia's Roscosmos and China's CNSA have been unusually silent, refusing to comment publicly. But satellite tracking networks have confirmed that deep space radar arrays worldwide are locked onto Atlas, firing signals and waiting for echoes. Early leaks claim the radar returns are unusual. Instead of the soft signatures expected from ice, the echoes look hard and metallic. And then came the biggest twist. A respected astronomer hinted off-record that the Mars orbiter images may have captured more than just plumes. In the frames where Atlas glowed brightest, 3 tiny glints appeared in Mars's high orbit, aligned in a triangle. Were they cosmic rays, sensor noise, or scout probes released ahead of Atlas? The idea sounds outrageous, but so does everything else about this visitor. If Atlas is natural, we're rewriting comet science. If it's not, then every agency on Earth is now facing a decision they never prepared for. Do we simply watch as it passes, or do we attempt to intercept it? Because the latest models suggest one chilling possibility. Atlas may not just be passing through. Its trajectory is slowing, bending, as if preparing to stay. As Atlas drifts deeper into the inner solar system, analysts notice something that left them stunned. Its trajectory isn't just unusual, it's slowing down. For an ordinary comet, gravity and solar heating should make it speed up as it falls toward the sun. That's basic physics, but Atlas appears to be shedding velocity, breaking against expectations. How? One theory is as wild as it is unsettling, a maneuver known as a reverse Oberth effect. In spacecraft design, this strategy uses thrust opposite to a planet's gravity to slow a craft dramatically, the perfect way to capture yourself into a system instead of flying through it. Here's the chilling part. Atlas will reach its closest approach to the Sun, perihelion. At the exact moment Earth is hidden on the other side of the Sun. From our perspective, it will be invisible, cloaked by solar glare. If you were designing a mission to hide your most sensitive maneuver, the timing couldn't be more perfect. Coincidence or calculation? NASA's official line insists it's all natural. But behind the scenes, astronomers admit the probability of a random interstellar object performing such a sequence is less than 1 in 20,000. The idea has electrified theorists like Harvard's Avi Loeb, who suggests Atlas might not be a rock at all, but a nuclear-powered probe engineered to test our response. If so, every plume, every pulse, every course adjustment we've seen could be deliberate. Even skeptics can't ignore the timing, because if Atlas really is braking, it won't leave. It will remain in orbit around our sun, and that possibility changes everything. A visitor passing through is one thing, but a visitor choosing to stay, that's no longer a comet, that's an arrival. While Mars was capturing the visual plumes, another eye in the sky was watching from much farther away, the James Webb Space Telescope. Its infrared sensors are designed to read the faintest heat signatures across billions of light years. When Webb turned its gaze toward 3i Atlas, what it found defied every expectation. Instead of the random flickers of frozen gases venting into space, Webb measured structured thermal patterns spreading across the surface, as if heat were moving in waves from the inside out. The readings repeated in cycles, perfectly synchronized with the plumes spotted by the Mars orbiter. For an ordinary comet, sunlight provides the heat. But Atlas is still so far from the sun that solar warming alone cannot explain the levels of energy Webb recorded. The math is unforgiving. The object is producing more heat than it should, at distances where normal comets remain quiet and frozen. This is where the debate turns sharp. Some scientists argue we may be seeing a brand new form of cryovolcanism, strange ice chemistry venting energy in ways never observed before. That explanation would still be revolutionary, but it barely fits the data, because the pulses Webb detected were too regular, too timed, shifting wavelengths like an engine burning fuel. One astrophysicist described it bluntly: "This doesn't look like geology, it looks like metabolism or machinery." The implication is staggering. Either Atlas harbors life forms surviving inside a frozen shell, breathing heat into the void, or it contains an energy system designed to regulate itself like a reactor hidden beneath layers of dust. In both cases, one conclusion rises above the rest. This is no passive wanderer. Atlas is active. It is alive with something, biological, technological, or a blend of both, and it is getting stronger as it moves closer. And that leaves us with a terrifying thought. What happens when it reaches its true power at perihelion, hidden from Earth's view? The data leaves us staring at a fork in the road, each path more astonishing than the other. If Atlas is natural, then it must contain life forms unlike anything we've ever imagined. Picture organisms frozen for millions, maybe billions, of years, carried across interstellar space in a shell of ice. These would not be fragile Earth-like microbes, but extremophiles of the cosmos, designed by evolution to sleep in the deep cold and awaken only when starlight warms their cage. In this scenario, Atlas is not just a comet, it's a cosmic ark, ferrying seeds of life from system to system. If that's true, it would confirm a theory long whispered in astrobiology: panspermia, the idea that life does not begin and die on single worlds, but spreads across the galaxy like pollen on the wind. But the other possibility is even more unsettling. What if Atlas is not biological at all? What if the patterns, the heat pulses, the deliberate course corrections are evidence of technology? Imagine a craft cloaked in ice, disguised as a comet, slowly revealing itself as it nears a star. Its plumes would not be random vents, but thrusters releasing bursts of gas to steer with precision. The heartbeat Webb detected could be the rhythm of an ancient reactor, still functioning after eons of drift. This raises an even darker question. Is Atlas a probe? Not a living being, but a machine built by a civilization far older than ours. A civilization that may be gone, leaving behind only its wandering messengers. Either path leads to the same conclusion. Atlas is doing the impossible. Natural comets do not behave this way. Life or machine, both shatter our understanding of the universe. Both mean we are not alone, and the closer Atlas comes, the harder it becomes to ignore the possibility that we are witnessing not just a flyby, but a deliberate encounter. As word of Atlas's strange behavior spread beyond the scientific circles, the world began to tremble with anticipation. For the first time in history, humanity faced an object that could be alive or built or both, and it was heading toward us. In universities, lecture halls overflowed with students demanding answers. Astrobiologists argued over definitions. What counts as life? Does it need DNA or only metabolism? Others claimed the signals matched machinery, forcing philosophers to ask if a machine that behaves like life should be called alive. Religious leaders, too, began weighing in. Some declared Atlas a sign from the heavens, a messenger carrying proof that creation spans countless worlds. Others warned of judgment, fearing the object as a harbinger of doom. Meanwhile, governments scrambled in silence. Intelligence briefings spoke of potential contact scenarios. Security councils whispered about planetary defense, not against asteroids, but against something that might choose to stay. Ordinary people reacted in their own ways. Some watched the sky nightly, waiting for a glimpse of the glowing tail. Others turned to social media, posting theories, fears, and wild predictions. Conspiracy groups claimed Atlas was already in communication with secret agencies. Memes joked nervously, "Don't look up, it's looking back." But beneath the noise, one feeling connected everyone: awe. For centuries, humanity asked, "Are we alone?" That question was no longer theoretical. Every pulse web detected, every plume Mars photographed, every anomalous reading whispered the same message: we are not alone. And as Atlas drifted closer, the silence from official channels grew heavier. NASA issued bland updates, ESA released routine images, but nothing explained the impossible. Nothing denied it either, which leaves one terrifying truth. If Atlas is active, then it is aware. And if it is aware, then perhaps it has already noticed us. The world now waits for a moment both thrilling and terrifying: perihelion. That's when Atlas will swing closest to the sun. For a normal comet, it's when icy tails blaze brightest, pushed into dazzling arcs by solar heat. But for Atlas, perihelion means something else. At the exact moment of closest approach, Earth will be on the opposite side of the sun. For weeks, the object will be invisible, hidden behind solar glare, unreachable to even our most powerful telescopes. That coincidence, or design, chills astronomers. If Atlas is preparing to make a move, this would be the perfect cover. Any course change, any sudden outburst, any maneuver, all of it would unfold where no one on Earth could see. NASA insists routine observations will resume once it emerges from the sun's shadow. But insiders admit this is the most critical window. A maneuver here could change Atlas's destiny from a flyby into a permanent capture inside our solar system. Meanwhile, every observatory on Earth is watching the clock. The James Webb Telescope is already pointed at the edge of solar glare, pushing its instruments to their limits. Radar stations are running continuous sweeps, bouncing signals off the void, hoping to catch even a faint echo, and yet, silence. No one knows what Atlas will do. Some expect nothing at all, that it will blaze like a comet and sail away. Others fear this is the moment it reveals its true nature, adjusting speed, braking, and choosing to stay. Across the globe, people are counting down not in hours or days, but in heartbeats. The closer perihelion comes, the louder the question grows. When Atlas emerges from the sun's glare, what will we see? As the countdown to perihelion ticks away, humanity finds itself staring into a mirror held up by the cosmos. Atlas has defied every rule we thought we understood. Pulses like a heartbeat, course corrections like a ship, heat where there should be only ice. Now the final question looms. If it is braking, if those pulses are thrust, not chaos, then Atlas is not passing through. It is staying, and that possibility changes everything. A passing visitor would be history's greatest discovery, but a permanent presence in our solar system, that's not just discovery, that's arrival. Imagine it, a craft older than our species, finally choosing to stop. Or a living organism, awakening in the warmth of our star, seeding life or knowledge across worlds. Either way, it would mean we are no longer the only active intelligence in our cosmic neighborhood. Governments already know the stakes. Defense councils have drafted interception scenarios. Space agencies have prepared emergency probes. But even the most advanced plans admit the truth. We cannot control what happens next. Because if Atlas has chosen to stay, then the decision is not ours. The silence from NASA, ESA, and every other agency grows louder each day. Official updates describe a comet, but the data leaks, the whispers, the impossible numbers, they all say otherwise. And so the world waits, eyes on the sun, hearts racing, knowing that when Atlas emerges from the glare, we may see history's first undeniable proof that we are not alone, that the universe is alive, that something out there has found us. And the truth, whatever it is, will arrive very, very soon. Even before Atlas emerges from behind the sun, its presence has already changed us. For centuries, we looked to the stars and asked a single question: are we alone? Atlas has not answered in words, but in something more undeniable: motion. Scientists call it an anomaly. Engineers whisper about propulsion. Philosophers describe it as a mirror. Because whatever Atlas truly is, comet, craft, or living ark, it has forced humanity to confront the unthinkable. We are not the sole authors of this universe. Religions rewrite sermons, weaving Atlas into prophecy. Politicians preach unity while quietly racing to stake a claim. Artists paint glowing ships wrapped in ice, or vast organisms awakening in solar fire. Children look up at the sky not with fear but with wonder, asking, who else is out there? The implications stretch beyond science. If Atlas carries life, then Earth itself may be part of a cosmic family, not an isolated miracle, but one branch of a vast galactic tree. If it is technology, then intelligence in the universe is not unique to us. we are latecomers to an ancient game already being played among the stars. Either way, our species has crossed a line. We can no longer cling to the comfort of isolation. The universe has spoken, not with a signal, but with a presence. And as Atlas draws closer, humanity faces a reckoning. Do we reach out in curiosity? Do we prepare in fear? Or do we simply watch, realizing that we may not be the ones in control? Because the truth is no longer if we are alone. The truth is what comes next. Atlas now drifts in silence, hidden by the sun, its true nature just beyond our reach. The data points in two directions, one toward life, the other toward technology, and both lead to the same revelation: we are not alone. When it emerges, the world will see the truth. Maybe it will blaze like a comet, burn bright and fade into the distance. Or maybe, just maybe, it will break, slow, and stay. If that happens, this won't be a passing visitor. It will be the first arrival, and then the real questions begin. If it's life, will it reveal itself? If it's a machine, is it observing us or waiting for something? And if it's both, a blend of biology and technology, what does that mean for our own future? Already the silence from official channels feels louder than any statement. NASA posts calm updates, ESA shares routine images, but no one denies the impossible. Behind closed doors, world leaders are preparing for scenarios we can only imagine. For scientists, this is the discovery of a lifetime. For philosophers, it's the rewriting of existence. For the rest of us, it is the beginning of a story we never thought we'd live to see. Because the next time we see Atlas, after the sun's glare fades, we will know whether we stand alone in the void or whether we've just met the neighbors. So I'll leave you with this question. If Atlas really is active, really alive, really aware, what do you think it wants? Drop your thoughts below, because when the truth arrives, it will change not just astronomy, but everything.